on in. Lily's on her way back. She had to go out to her car. Lily helped me when I was living at the beach. She would let me go take a bath at her place. She would let me keep my clothes there. She basically let me like move in and live there and shower there, but not sleep there, which was fine. I would just go shower, change, leave. I was like quick in and out. She was always really generous with her snacks. So, and a lot of my friends who are sober and got it together, work full time, they're homeless. So today's also Lily's birthday. She stayed with me last night. And that was really nice. I had like this thing happen in my body, and the thought of staying with Lorenzo made my whole body like recoil. So I wasn't. So we'll have to do an update soon because I'm about to get like a whole bunch of wood flooring and stuff to finish my decorations. This is one of the things I did. I dedicate this garden and so proclaim it to the valiant, lovable, gorgeous, wise, super mega hunk, the owner of my heart, the Italian stallion garden. And I put like these 2 baskets and all of these plants. I made it so pretty. And we'll close the window because they're still sleeping. And go ahead and have a seat. So I told you before the wedding what happened, and I was able to get some empathy from myself, and thankfully my tribe was advocating for me a lot. So I came home from hot yoga, and some behaviors I noticed, like after we became engaged, I decided like, you don't have to pay for rent, like live with me. And I'm glad I did, because smoking cigarettes in my house every day breaks the rules and jeopardizes my housing. And I made that area out there for him to roll spliffs. And I told him he could smoke out there because it's outside, but even that's like breaking the rules. So then I was like, no, you can't smoke in here. But he continued to not only smoke, but walk in every room. So I was at this like dilemma. Here's the man of my dreams. I love him so much. I can spend all this time with him. He quit his job to do music, and he wants to be a superhero. He believes what I believe. You know, I FaceTime his girlfriends in Italy. He gets along amazing with my boyfriends. So King Mega Ryan, one of my partners, was supporting both of the Italian stallions, Francesco and Lorenzo, yesterday. I just couldn't have that behavior, the crossing boundaries repeatedly after being told to my face they're not going to, and then also it was just other boundary invasions that I was able to just see, like, this is not someone who's at the level that I'm at, but I do understand that behavior because I'm still working on myself, and all of the things he was doing I could find in myself, and I'm working on myself too. And you know, I may not be doing the exact behavior, but I could see where I invade boundaries, and it helps me to have stronger boundaries when someone invades my boundaries. So I'm kind of like, I couldn't go spend the night with my husband. They got a hotel. I think they got like a really nice Airbnb in Marina del Rey. And then when I was like, I'm not going, then they were going from hotel to hotel. And it was several hours of Ryan driving them around. We had our beautiful after party. Ryan has like this beautiful roof deck pool and outdoor kitchen. And we were all in this huge hot tub. And it was so fun. And of course it was sober, no alcohol, and there was Coca-Cola and water, and tons and tons of food, and it was really beautiful. Lorenzo was sulking the whole time, and they were also looking for a place to stay. It was awful, but it was like, I just couldn't tolerate that type of behavior jeopardizing my housing and my situation. And because of my friends, instead of being reactive, like Ryan was on FaceTime with me when I entered the space to ask him that he couldn't stay here because just the repeated smoking in the house, and I walked in and he was smoking in my house. And it's not just like smoking out the window, trying to be really careful, being secretive. No, he's like going to use the bathroom and ashing on my white tablecloth, like complete disrespect. And there were other behaviors too that was like just, I needed to feel considered and that my needs mattered and that there was reciprocity. However, I also understood, because when I was living outside at the beach, I was in a state of fight-flight. I made sure I was a life-enriching presence, but to the degree that, like when I say, what is my work? And why am I attracting this? I know that I have these things in me if I'm attracting this person into my world. And I can trace it back to my childhood. Like, my family had no boundaries. And I had men that were inappropriately touching me and making comments and getting, physically and verbally and psychologically, like, there was not boundaries. And now I have boundaries, so I have this incredible clenching, condensing, constricting in my body, lets me know I'm not available for this. Literally, my body would not even go. I ended up I took back my American phone. Unfortunately, when I asked the two Italian stallions to leave, they were like giggling and laughing like it was funny. And I said, no, this is not funny. This is sad. And it was during that time that, the Italian stallion would to that Mary J. Nah, and she's my best friend. And I was like, how could you do that? And, that's taking resources from me, impacting me, knowing that I pay $56 a month rent and my only other bill is that. So that was like a impact on me that it was like knowing that he's going to harm me. So I just saw that behavior as just addict behavior that I can relate to because I have 7 years sober. And August 2nd, 2018 will forever be my sober birthday. I've been saying that on your channel for years. And people who fake their sobriety don't do that, by the way. And those who are saying, but Cali sober means that like Snoop Dogg, he likes to freestyle and so do I. So it's kind of like that. And that's what the Cali sober is. And although Lorenzo is, okay, let me explain this. Like, there's such thing as Cali sober, where it's like every once in a while, and then there's addict behavior where it's all day. And I've never witnessed that. And if it's a spliff, then you're including the tobacculitis. And this is a combination that, if you're doing it all day, it's also expensive. And then you're going to need more and more and more. And if you run out, even though someone said, do not touch. No, this is a big no for me. I'm not okay with that. Like, it's hard for me to get this particular version. And I just get another kind because, no. And then it was a wake-up call. And I listen to the universe when it gives me lessons. Like, I know I don't have to repeat this lesson because I ask questions like, what did I learn? And what am I taking from this? So here's what I learned and here's where I'm going forward. What I learned is, although I have really strong boundaries, I do need to work on my boundaries. And I'm glad that I allowed him to move in before the wedding. That was a good idea because all these behaviors come up. And, you know, like, boundaries are difficult because I saw that I was really conflicted, because one of the things that really drew me to Lorenzo is he is living in a van and probably sleeping at the beach and going in and out of hostels, and he was homeless like me.
In Italy?
Here. So being able to give him a place to stay, Big Ben did that for me. And All Good did that for me. And a lot of guys have done that for me. I was really looking forward to helping a homeless man. And I don't believe in the word homeless person. That's like a universal need. It's like saying an airless person because they don't have enough oxygen. We all need oxygen. We all need a home. And I wanted to give him a home. And feel tender because I love that man. However, I have done so much work. Like, my whole body does this like clenching, condensing, and then I listen to it. And when I relax and melt and lean in, I listen to that. And then I include boundaries and I tell people about it. So I'm doing a lot of work. The way forward is I'm continuing to do the work. So since I'm housed, another reason I kicked Lorenzo out is I have all kinds of group therapy and stuff. And if I'm worried about the split, it's like, no. So I have an appointment with my therapist to do therapy once a week, and then I do EMDR once a week. So it's twice a week with her. Then I have my psychologist, Yvette Erasmus. I've been talking about her on your channel for a long time. I've been seeing her 6 years. I go to her group therapy on Wednesday, and then on Thursdays she has a class. And I actually missed the class this past Thursday because I was like just so busy with this stuff. So I'm excited to do that. And then I have another group therapy call on Friday with Mickey Kashtan, who is a global liberation coach, and that's my work. So being able to go with her is a gift. If I didn't have my housing, now I'm about to get high-speed internet, so I'll have $14 a month and $56 a month. I live on $220 a month. And you want to know something? They're threatening the general relief and food stamps. Well, guess what? Last month, my rent was due and I didn't have anything to pay. So you know what I did? I took all 4 of my month's rent, because $220 times 4 it was like $224 I owed. And I just had a $5 bill and I gave Mary $220. So I paid 4 months in advance. So I'm paid all the way till the end of January. Because I pay the month before, because I don't get my general relief till the 2nd. And I don't want to pay late. So, you're supposed to pay on the 1st. So I'm kind of proud of my second bill. $14 a month and $56. With Lorenzo, I was willing to do everything. I was willing to put my next YouTube channel in his name, let the proceeds go to him, make music with him, make him a star. I was introducing him to all these musicians. I showed him a space at Pacific and Horizon, 1 block from the beach in Venice, right by Windward Circle, where my friend owns that nightclub. And that could be his own venue to perform. I took him to another open mic night. Like, I was just supporting all of his dreams. And I was just so willing to, like, help him get his citizenship and help him get his own housing, because ultimately, like, I just want to live with my kids. I don't want to live with the men. I kind of like how there's a matriarchal tribe in China, and the grandmothers have all their descendants. So the sons stay with the mothers, and then the mothers go and start their own family trees. But the brothers raise the kids, and the uncles raise the kids, not the dads. Isn't that interesting? So I'm not saying I know the way, but I want to find my tribe. I hope that Lorenzo continues to show up. After having him take something of mine, my resources, when asking him not to, as I described earlier, I couldn't find something, and then I accused him of stealing. through Ryan, my other partner, and Ryan went through all their bags when they checked in the hotel. And because I was flabbergasted that he would rob, I was like, he robbed me and took my, I was like, which wasn't true because I found my stuff. I mean, he did take weed, but I found my stuff. So, but then in that moment, I asked for my American phone back because I had given him the government phone because Jack Brewer, one of my super squad members, pays for my cell phone. So my government phone, I was able to just give it to him. I would have given him, dude, I was like gonna marry this, give him everything, support him. I just wanted to help him, all his dreams come true. Everyone's done that for me. Everyone, I wanted to give that back. I want to give it back. I want to give it back to my kids. I was hoping that if I was married, my mom would talk to me because she talks to my husband. And he got along so well with all my hive. He loves all my boyfriends. And that's so important. So it was just like, as of now, we're kind of like still moving forward. You know, doing his citizenship takes a while. I'm not going to break any laws. Certainly not. Nothing like that. I'm not going to defraud even though I don't agree with countries and laws. I think anyone should be able to live where they want. But under the duress of punishment, and it's severe, I would not help someone get their citizenship unless it was according to all of the regulations, because these are serious offenses, and I take that seriously. So Lorenzo and I are going to have a heart-to-heart, and you're invited.
Does he still have his van?
He was living in a hostel, and I imagine when you live in a van, like when it runs out, since it's month to month, you might want like a week at a hostel, and then you go back to the van, or you do all kinds of things, or you do like 3 nights in a hostel, you go back to the van, and some people, like, that's their shower. And then they'll go rent another month.
Or join a gym.
And yeah, Lily woke up today and she was stretching and moving her body. And I just gave her empathy and smiled. And I'm a yogi. My body doesn't hurt. I work out all the time. I skateboard everywhere. Those are my wheels. I don't have to worry about my body hurting. My body feels fabulous. I have health, vitality, energy. I feel like a child. And I know the answers, but the answers won't help Lily. So I just gave her empathy. And then it was so funny. I didn't say anything. She goes, I want to start working out. I want to start stretching. It was like everything I was thinking she should do. She goes, I want. And you know, the power of empathy, it was like she read my mind, and I was just like loving her. And I go, And here's what I said. I didn't give advice. I affirmed for her. I said, that's so beautiful. I love that vision. I affirm for you, great, gorgeous goddess filled with vitality, health, and wellness. You are so stretchy and bendy and strong. And your motivation, determination, strength, and willpower is incredible. And the way that you continue to show up and work out regularly amazes me. And I affirm this is true, dear goddess. And so it is. And when we affirm for people, we do live in a world of magic. We do live in a world of pretend. It's not this literal, logical, this is this, that is that. It's a world of like responding, and like in the merit-based system, I would never talk to Lorenzo again. And my heart doesn't say that. My heart says like, you don't want to spend the night with him. You don't want him to spend the night with you. Also, when I left my stuff with Ryan, I was like, make sure it's not alone with Lorenzo. I was just like having to feel, but these were my boundaries, and they were just coming up, and I was honoring them. And I'm so used to healthy relationships since Perfect Prince. Like, I haven't had my boundaries repeatedly dishonored. And because I'm doing EMDR, I'm practicing not screaming in people's face, not dishonoring other people's boundaries. When I would clearly state my boundaries and my requests in doable, actionable language. He would say, calma, calma, like calm down. And I would say, instead, let us gaze into each other's eyes, see into each other's souls, and take a deep breath. And I grabbed his hands, and it's like the old Daisy would have been driven crazy by calma, calma. Like, no. I just gave him a little slight reframe. Yeah, I like calma. Here, give me your hands. Look in my eyes. Feel me. Feel what I'm feeling.
How long is Francesco here for?
That was the thing, is he arrived for the wedding and things got way worse. And then they began to speak in Italian, and I'm taking Lorenzo on Wednesday to get his teeth fixed because I know where to get your teeth fixed for free at UCLA Dental School.
Mm-hmm.
I'll still do all this stuff for him. But the way he's telling me, his friend was just like, she's getting my teeth fixed, she's getting this from me, she's getting me. It wasn't like, we're gonna help each other, we're gonna support each other, and this isn't Italian, but I lived in Panama and Paraguay for 7 years. I understand Spanish very well. Not fluently, but very well. And I speak it very well. And also living in California, I get to practice. I know what they're saying. And just the disrespect and it was just like, I was unable to tolerate it. It was just behavior that I could not tolerate. And yeah, like Francesco came, and then it was kind of like the wolf pack. And instead of like coming to do activities with me, then now it was just like, you know, hand in the pants, watching the TV, rolling the split all day, smoking all over my plate. It was just like, literally, I would like leave, we would go out for an activity, and then he lost his keys, and he goes, hey, can I borrow your keys? I'm gonna go mail a package. And he goes, I'll be back in 15 minutes, it's right there. He's gone forever, and we're looking at the beat, and so then we go back. He never went to go do any package. He was just home rolling the...
And he took your key so you couldn't get in?
Yeah. And, you know, when you that much, and I like to rip bong, and I do it a couple times a day. You don't need to, you know, like in the morning and the afternoon, and then in the evening I'm fine. I go to sleep fine. But in the morning, afternoon, I feel energized, and it's more like if I'm gonna go do a speech, or if I'm gonna, gets me into my flow state. And like once or twice a day, and then if I run out, there have been times where I've got to go a couple days. I'm fine, you know. But it's addict behavior. If you're out, and this person's like no, and you cannot honor because you have to have. So with that, I can relate.
So where's Lorenzo gonna stay for this time if he's not gonna be here?
Yeah. Well, here's why I can relate. Not now, but like back in the day when I was drinking alcohol, when I would run out, I would start drinking mouthwash because you can't buy alcohol till 6 a.m. And I had all the money in the world. But the thing is I was the kind of addict that I would dump stuff down the drain and flush it down the toilet, and I'd be like, never again. And then all of a sudden, 2 hours later, I'd be like, never mind, I changed my mind. So I get it. I get that like fiending behavior, and I was just so blown away. I'm still willing to help him. That's the crazy thing, is like my body, I listen to it. I listen to my boundaries. Okay, come and goddess. That's Lily. We could talk to you too. I listen to it, and I'm able to be like, oh, I still want to help him. But these are my boundaries. He can't come to my house. He can't. Come in, my goddess. I'm so happy to see you and Puka. Hello, come, Puka. Come. She is the guest of honor. She is a fur queen. Come, Puka. Come.
That's Puka?
Yes.
Hi, Puka.
She snaps. She looks sweet and snuggly, but she's has got some trauma.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Lily.
Thank
Here's our
you.
beautiful ordained minister goddess. And she's a mermaid. If you get her wet, she gets this beautiful sparkly diamond mermaid tail. It's really cool. You guys should see it.
I think they did yesterday.
Oh, that's right. We did dip you in the ocean. Well, I'm still going to help Lorenzo, and I'm going to, as long as it honors both of our boundaries and we're able to work through this, if he remains dismissive and avoidant and he's not able to communicate directly, because when I speak to him about what happened, there's a lot of excuses and redirecting. There's not open-hearted communication that there's a way forward, because if we can't find shared reality about what happened, we can't even talk about what happened to solve it. And that's where I'm left right now. So if that stays like that, then I will not be helping him get his citizenship. I will not be doing the paperwork for the marriage. I will, however, keep the title that I'm married, even if I don't ever see Lorenzo again, because I like the title being married, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm married to the world and my heart belongs to everyone, so I will keep the title. But I'm not going to do any paperwork if I cannot even communicate with my partner. There will be no wedding, there will be no citizenship. But I get to be married to the world. Should we talk about something that I want to address?
Yes.
I want to address the disrespect and kind of like the cynical, like, from the Italian stallions and what they said on video. And it's totally understandable that Francesco and Lorenzo would be speaking in Italian in unkind and uncaring ways about me and my tribe, because yesterday is the same day that I asked them both to leave. And Francesco said to me, but I do not smoke the spliff. I said, yeah, but you watch him light up in my place. If you're staying at an Airbnb or a hotel, or your mother's, or anyone you respect, and you know that they've already said, this upsets me, this is hurting me, I'm not okay with this, you're jeopardizing my housing, stop. And they keep doing it, and you watch them do it again, as far as I'm concerned, you're a culprit. And there was just something that I kind of understood this piece, like he only wanted to hang out in my place and smoke. Like he didn't want to leave or go anywhere or do anything. He just wanted to stay here. And like the whole like rummaging through my stuff and taking my stuff and breaking the boundaries was like to the degree that this would literally be a project. And moving forward, I see the way that they responded, like maybe they were kind of pissed off before the wedding. Like they got kicked out 4 hours earlier because they're smoking in the building. Sorry, you get kicked out if you smoke after you're told 5 times a day for a week not to. And repeatedly. And I tell you that I have very strong boundaries. I'm going to follow through with what I say. And that you can't stay here if you jeopardize my housing. So when I follow through, and now you're hurt, I'm used to those who I heal or help. Those are typically the ones who are the most angry and who steal from me. Anytime my skateboard's been stolen, a lot of the times it's someone I'm trying to help. And I know that that's something that happens. Like when we try to help people, we do leave ourselves vulnerable to get hurt. And I'm okay with that. It exercises my heart muscle. It makes me more profound with my intuition, and I'm able to integrate the wisdom and knowledge because I ask the questions. What did I learn? What is my peace? How do I attract this? Because this is in me also. And I look at those things. And I imagine Lorenzo and Francesco feel flabbergasted and shocked and hurt. And even though I was saying that this was not okay, for them it's okay. And they weren't really doing anything that bad. And this is just their universal needs. Like they needed what they needed. And they were just taking their needs. They weren't taking from me. So What do you think? I mean, she was the one that came to me and said, "Hey, they're trash talking us."
Well,
because I haven't seen it, but she told me. So tell them what.
Well, I do speak and understand a little Italian, and it's very easy to read body language as well, and just as empaths, we feel, and I'm a Scorpio, so I know when someone's lying or being half truth. I did feel that together. Again, I have not met Lorenzo away from Francesco, but I did notice that together they seem to kind of tip each other off to that disrespectful part. I'm not going to blame one or the other or anything, or saying it's because Lorenzo is in on that. He should be, as you being his bride, should be more respectful and tell his friend, hey, this is someone who we need to respect, who is giving me love and empathy and an opportunity
and a place to stay.
And a place to stay, and I want to do the same for her. Again, culturally,
because I don't have to let my partner stay with me.
This is
just because he's my husband doesn't mean he's got to live with me. Trust me, he is not coming in my house. And if I go to his place, I'm keeping my stuff on me. Like, that's where I am. You want to know what happened when I was sitting with Lorenzo and all my friends playing music? One of my friends very assertively was to the point where I was like, whoa, it was like, I couldn't believe it. He was like, you took my stuff. He's like, you used to roll your spliff. And I was kind of like thrown back, like, he wouldn't do that. Yeah, he was doing the same thing to me. So the disrespect and the crossing the boundaries is to the degree that the shit talking does not surprise me, because it takes that kind of thinking to be able to have that kind of behavior. There has to be that kind of talking inside, and it's not just about us, but it's about themselves, and it's about themselves all day, because about us, when we're making them happy, they're probably thinking wonderful things about us, and they're thinking about what else they can get and what they can. That's how I felt used. And Big Ben did not know me that well, and he helped me so much. Like, he would come and pick me up at the homeless shelter every morning at 3 a.m., and we would hang out and work out. And then after meeting him, like, it was just a few months after meeting him, I got kicked out of the homeless shelter, and he gave me a place to stay. That was like he didn't have to do that. And I was really hoping that I was doing something for somebody the way that it was done for me, and that just...
I think the difference that might be here is that you and Big Ben had a little bit more engagement together, like more time together and everything, and he was a different type of person. Again, I'm not going to say culturally that there's a misunderstanding or anything like that, because rude is just rude, and making fun of people is just making fun of people. And on your wedding, there was a lot of lack of the seriousness of the event, which is not, we wanted it to be lighthearted and fun, but not like that, not at the expense of you or me or whoever. I mean, we are people who are just celebrating a union.
But were they
friendship.
okay? But what? Well, here's what I knew, because maybe no one else could probably read this like me. They had nowhere to go. All their stuff was in Ryan's vehicle, and they were wearing the clothes that they got kicked out in, and they were like, whoa, she's actually serious about her boundaries, and basically she's gonna do everything that she said, but we don't have a place to stay, which means we don't get to drink all her cappuccinos and drink all her juice and eat all her food anymore. And I eat like fresh fruit and cold pressed juice, and I use coconut smoothie from Harmless Harvest and mix it with oat milk, and my barista bar is like incredible.
A little more appreciative of that and respectful.
That takes takes my resources, which is okay, because they did wait in line and get stuff at the food line downstairs, so that's okay. But it's like,
were they going to contribute?
Well, so the only problem I had was taking from me when I asked them not to. So it's not taking without asking, it's taking when I've already said don't. And I was told not to use the word stealing, so I'm not going to. And also, smoking cigarettes in my home. I would walk inside and it would smell like cigarettes. And I would walk inside and it would smell like cigarettes. And I would find cigarette ash everywhere. And I've got like white tablecloths and beautiful wood flooring that we do yoga on. And there would just be cigarette ash everywhere. And I'm like, is this person walking around like with their shoes on smoking? And we don't wear shoes in my place, and we don't do that in here. And it was just repeated boundary invasions like that. If any respectful person that respects themselves is going to need to, because that jeopardizes my housing if someone breaks the rules like that. And also it makes me feel like more rapid heartbeat and stress and constriction in my body when I really want to feel relaxed and
well, you brought
harmony.
something important up, that it's a lack of respect for themselves as well. So if they're
it's
not
addict behavior,
right? If they're not respecting themselves,
they're not.
It's very difficult to respect. And I gotta commend you for the growth that you've done and being able to now say, okay, I'm not going to accept this behavior. You're a little bit more within your power, and it didn't take like a long time, months. It took just a matter of a week where you're just like, no, this is not.
You want to know
okay.
the difference? I wasn't living in their place.
Exactly.
Housing is a huge issue. Housing
It
impacts.
empowers
You
you.
want to know something? People want to talk about the difference in my behavior. I'm not getting woken up all the time. I don't have to move all the time. That affects your mental health. Being separated from my children, Dylan, Rose, and Chris for 7 years, who all I could think about yesterday was my children. I wasn't thinking about Lorenzo. I was thinking about Dylan, Rose, and Chris, and Max, Rose's foster brother, because I consider him a son. And Nico and Pavi are my brother and sister, and I
Your
love
family.
all of them. I love them. I was missing my family. And when we, as a world, accept people that they don't have their house and they don't have their kid, we must have tribes that meet universal needs. Because housing, Lorenzo, if he had all of the housing, I mean, weed is a weed. It grows everywhere. Like, a poor guy should be able to do that as much as he wants. There should be all kinds of places he could just go do that. But because there's so much scarcity, I've got to question, is this person dating me for me? Because of the world we live in. That's why I hate money. That's why I gave him broken chain, which, by the way, you want to see our rings? We'll put them in the garden together. So here's our wedding rings. I didn't even bother to bring them. Here's the broken chain I gave him. I wanted to give him freedom because I don't believe that men are providers or that they're here to die for their country. We are indoctrinated and programmed in school to become soldiers and workers. And we listen to a bell, bing. We're programmed to sit in boredom and learn superfluous information and have no purpose. Learning information with no purpose means that there's compartmentalized information and no one knows what's happening. And when we don't know what's happening and we don't have a purpose, this creates the kind of behavior with Lorenzo. It's the world. I wanted to believe in this man. He's so incredible. He reminds me of my father's personality. And, like my father was a genius musician and kind of a sociopath, very narcissistic. I'm a lot like my father, and I'm working on it. So I gave him this broken chain, thinking that he was just like me. He was a performer. He was wild. He wanted to live in a world where our universal needs are met no matter what. And it turns out that he may have just been doing this because market economy creates such constraints that we'll marry someone just to have a better life. And that may have been what happened. I think that my garden could use this. This is a sick orchid that I helped get better. And I'm letting the roots kind of expand because they got really constricted in here. And as soon as I brought the orchid in, it flowered. And then Lorenzo broke the flower. But there's other bulbs that will come. So we'll put one there. We'll put Lorenzo's ring here because it's funny, he broke that flower and now our relationship's broken. It's kind of symbolic. So broken flower. And then we'll put this one with we'll We'll put it into pineapple. Because it will help the pineapple feel more lovable. When, as soon as the situation went down, Ryan dropped everything. King Mega Ryan, he prefers to be pretty anonymous, and he's 6'8", very, very, very intelligent, emotionally very, very mature, and incredibly empathetic and a really good communicator. So he came, picked up the Italian stallions, took them to his place, gave them a place to just rest, decompress, get ready for the wedding, gave them empathy, gave them support. Before he left, he and I had a brief discussion, and he said to me, "You're really upset right now. Now is not the time. It's okay to get empathy now. It's okay to vent. It's not okay to make any big decisions. Don't make decisions when you're upset. You know, just do everything that you were gonna do, and we'll figure all of this out later when we're calm." And he was like, "Get some empathy." So I went to go get empathy from my friends and was calling and getting support. He was giving empathy to the Italian stallions. Then he remained neutral the whole entire time, made sure that all of their belongings were taken care of, transported, that they had a place to stay. He's even offered to continue to work out with them at his gym, where they get to go work out for free and be guests. And we have a couple days this week that we're supposed to work out. Today was one of the days, but given just the stress and the circumstances, we I guess I might still go, but I don't know if they'll go. They might go, actually. They like working out. So the way that my partners interact with each other is they're closer to one another than they are to me. So when things like this happen, like Ryan and him, they're already like bros, so they already have more rapport than I have with them. And my new partners have to develop that rapport with my partners before I'll consider them a partner. And that's brotherhood. And sisterhood is the same thing. The women at my wedding, if like you let me shower at your place, you let me have all of my clothes at your place. It was basically my apartment, and you would let me in. I would eat all your snacks. Like you were doing, I was doing things that would.
Your cookies that you.
I was doing things that would like annoy me if other people did at my space, and you were like just so mothering and amazing, and I love you. And my space is here for you whenever you want. She knows, and she is key to my heart, and being able to recognize that the sisterhood is the most important and the brotherhood is the most important. Like Mary was at my wedding. She helped me get housed. I would not be here if it weren't for Mary. And Mary took me to every appointment, advocated for me, called my caseworker, followed up with people, made sure that my caseworker now is like my personal assistant. They help me with everything. It's like my mental health and everything is just, I'm getting so much support and I'm thriving because of it. And that's come from the women. I was surrounded by women, and having you with me last night, I felt great. I didn't cry once. And I just felt so strong and empowered. Lorenzo and Francesco hug and kiss each other like brothers, and so does Ryan, and they're all straight. You know, none of them are. That's a healthy thing to do. You know,
it's a
healthy thing
misunderstood, I think, in this society, because we're, like you mentioned before, we're so used to coupling off. In past times and in tribal societies, the women are with the women, the men are with the men, because they understand each other better, the friendships. Our partner cannot be our everything, end all, be all, best friend, everything, because we speak different languages per se.
And they speak the same language. They have
and
most of
so
the same
they
needs.
get more understanding and
More nurturing from being with each
sympathy,
other.
because sympathy is going through the same thing and knowing and feeling. I've been through that, not just empathy. So they can feel the sympathy as well. Just like women, you know, we can't go to a man and say, oh, I feel so bad. I start my period. I have cramps. They kind of don't even want to talk about that. But you go to another woman, they're like, oh, what do you need? Whatever, because we understand, we feel the same thing. And men, their emotions they process emotions differently than women. So when they talk to each other, it's a different way of being able to communicate. We want to be more dig deep and what are your feelings in this, and men don't tend to be that way per se, unless they've had, they grew up with talking about feelings and doing that thing. And unfortunately in this society, not a lot of men have that opportunity to experience the gentler side of the masculinity. So there's actually masculinity is also can be gentle and nurturing with each other, and it doesn't have to be gay or homosexual. And if you are, there's no problem with that. But again, it's speaking the same, understanding the same frequency. I guess I would, frequency. It's the same frequency. So that's why sometimes men and women, I feel, skits out because we don't have the same frequency, and so we would fight. And then you'll come to your friends and your goddesses, and I feel such and such a way. We give you the and the cry and the woohoos and all the girls woo that we got to do. And the men are like, yeah, you're good, you're strong, let's go work out. And that's their
I say that those ruptures wouldn't even occur if we were in a tribe, and that the nuclear family is a scarcity model that is meant to make us feel powerless, and it's meant to make us feel mobilized and stressed out so that we will be good producers.
If you put everything on just one person, the woman,
it's,
the man,
it's a beautiful recipe, because then you have soldiers that can go get picked up and taken to war, and then you have men that can go to work, and then you have kids that could go to school. And school is reverse slavery, because if you are paying someone, if you're not paying the kid, you're paying the school to keep someone somewhere in a fenced in place where they can't leave. They have to get permission. They cannot do it on their own. And if they're not there and they leave without permission, they could have the cops go to their home, and they could get taken and put literally in a kid jail or a foster home and forced to go to school. That is a prison. And when we live in a world of scarcity, like my situation, I want to keep bringing it back to the scarcity and the nuclear family model. And this is why we need a tribe, because when you have nuclear family, you get a lone wolf, and only a lone wolf would, like, Big Ben opened himself up to me. We had the most beautiful relationship start to finish. He was just monogamous, and he would have been with only me, but I just can't do that. And he opened himself up to me. I could have done him so dirty. I could have done what was done to me, and
I'm glad you didn't.
I know I didn't, but I can see where I've done that to others and have seen men like that before. And I don't bring men into my life who I'm going to use anymore. And that is why I have this new reaction when people are using me, that I'm not available, and I didn't have that reaction before.
Now, Reverend Lily, I read a lot of comments, and they said, was this a real wedding?
Yes, it was. California is a ceremony state. It's recognized that once you have a ceremony by an ordained individual. I've been ordained since 2007. I have performed several marriages. As a matter of fact, my first marriage is still strong and running that I performed, almost 25 years. And so, yes, it is very legal. It is a ceremony state. So she's married, so she can carry the title married. There's a difference being registered for the state and being recognized through the state for all the different governmental necessities, and also the ceremony, because again, that's a spirit. They're saying it's a spirit union. I read some of the comments. Yes, and also legal in California. They can Google it. It's a ceremony state. I have my, I sent you my proof of ordination. You didn't even ask for it either. I just said, hey, I want you to make sure that you have this, so everything's on the up and up and everything's legal. So yes, it's a legal marriage. She's married, and she can carry the title as long as she's married.
Married to the world, because my heart belongs to everyone.
I think also, and just a suggestion that I was going to tell you, it might be wonderful to have a ceremony to yourself and dedicate to yourself a lot of stuff that I've noticed that you've given to others. You're learning so good how to put up your boundaries and how to learn to love yourself in that way. You and I have very similar upbringings where we didn't understand, we didn't have boundaries. Boundaries were not respected. So we don't understand that. And for us, love is someone who rips through our boundaries. That's how they love us. And that's where we're being recalibrated to learn something different. And I think for you, the next ceremony, instead of kings, should be really one to yourself. For as much as you've loved yourself and raised yourself and taught yourself the things that we didn't learn, that you may be married to the world, but I think really your next marriage, your next ceremony, your next bond should be with you. I think that would be a beautiful thing.
I feel like your words are mine, and I love them, and you're so wise. And I appreciate your wisdom and your love.
She's got really strong hands, by the way. They're amazing.
Healer hands.
Yes, she worked out my shoulder this morning. So yeah, legal marriage, and that's it. The proof's on camera. Ceremony state. You guys saw it.